to Bad Larry.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Bad Larry Kingdom. I'm your host, Bad Larry, and today we continue the Inferno saga with part 32 out of 39, coming to you in Uncanny X-Men issue number 243, dated April 1989, written by Chris Claremont and drawn by Mark Silvestri. And you know, before we start the issue, we must rate that cover! I rated this cover as a 100%. I honestly couldn't find any fault to it. We have the main characters, the villain, fire, and drawn feet. So what else can I ask for? Now, if you disagree, let me know in the comments below. In the last episode, X Factor number 38, Jean Grey reunited with a fragment of the Phoenix Force mistakenly occupying the body of Madelyne Pryor. And this reunion allowed Jean to overpower and incapacitate the Goblin Queen, who is not only about to kill her own son in a demonic sacrificial ritual, but all of the X-Men, X Factor, and a good bit of the surrounding Manhattan area. Even though the Goblin Queen is a misled, misguided psycho bitch, she still is the physical carbon copy of Jean Grey. Could you imagine looking over the unconscious or dead body of yourself? It would be freaking weird. I will say old Mark Silvestri is really pushing the limits on the coverage of that costume. Sheesh. Normally there would be a splash page here. Typically the second page is the splash page. Where is my splash page? No splash pages this issue, which sucks. Either way, this issue is called Ashes, both referring to the coming end of the Inferno. As a fire burns out, it leaves ashes, showing we are approaching the end of this epic saga. And now that we have seen the Phoenix reunite with Jean last issue, we know the Phoenix rises from the ashes, creating new birth, so we can expect something new to come out of this issue as well. This issue also holds some time milestones, being the 25th anniversary issue of the Uncanny X-Men and the 150th issue of this new X-Men team. Pretty boss. In last issue, I didn't think that Goblin Queen has died, but apparently she has. An interesting phenomenon is occurring. As the city is reverting back to normal, the effects of the Inferno are still impacting some of the X-Men. Colossus points this out, and before we have an answer, Jean Grey lets out a howl of miserable sadness and pain. The team cannot approach her. She's put up a force field around her and the Goblin Queen. Psylocke tries to take the minds of her fellow X-Men and X-Factor into the mind of Jean Grey, figure out what's going on with her, but their psychic minds are sent to the blue area of the moon, the location of where the original Phoenix died. This is interesting. Why would Jean or the Phoenix send the team there? Well, it wasn't the entirety of the team physically or psychically sent into Jean Grey's mind. It's Cyclops, Storm, the Wolverine, and Psylocke. Inside Jean Grey's mind, Mr. Sinister first appears, smashing through Jean's memories, looking to destroy them, which is why Jean cried out so loudly in real life. She's under psychic attack from Mr. Sinister. The team still are unaware that Madelyne Pryor doesn't just look like Jean Grey, she is the clone of Jean Grey, and Cyclops still doesn't know why he is considered so special by Mr. Sinister either. So, Madelyne Pryor seemed to have died last episode in X Factor 38, but her mind, memories, her psyche was merged with that of Jean Grey when Jean accepted back the Phoenix Force. A shard of Goblin Queen's psyche is what attacks the team, and even though these four are in the astral plane, their physical bodies can still react to the attacks like they're in real life. So these four are still not safe, even in the astral plane. Marvel Girl from the OG X-Men, Professor X's first X-Men team, comforts the astral simulacrum of Cyclops, letting him know she's struggling for control over her mind, trying to integrate Madelyne's psyche into her own is proving to be a real challenge. The team thinks that Rogue may be able to help Jean, as she went through a similar experience with Captain Marvel, but as Psylocke tries to leave to get to Rogue's psyche to join the party, she realizes she can't leave. They're trapped in Jean's mind, unable to break free. All the while, Mr. Sinister is steadily destroying memory after memory inside Jean Grey's mind. Well, it seems like they're Madelyne Pryor's memories. Regarding the art, I feel like Mark Silvestri could have made the astral plane and characters within it more interesting looking. The art feels like a bit of a cop out when it could have been a great opportunity to get as weird as they are in someone's mind. Anything kind of goes, but it seems flat. Well, at least it does to me. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Mr. Sinister is cocky as hell. I guess he does have a lot of experience getting into people's minds and messing them up, which he threatens to do here with Storm. Her physical attacks do nothing to Mr. Sinister in the astral plane, and now she is under attack, her entire psyche possibly wiped out clean by Mr. Sinister, replaced with his own creation, which is what I think he did with his Marauders, and what he's planning to do with Jean Grey. Psylocke comes to Storm's aid. She's actually experiencing it, battling on the astral plane, and maybe the team's only hope. Madelyne Pryor's mind tells the foursome their enemy is called Mr. Sinister, and he is a master at cloning. While Psylocke is trying to keep Mr. Sinister at bay, Cyclops and the Wolverine are trying to convince Madelyne Pryor to help them battle Sinister, which she has zero interest in doing. She is still full-on hater and is trying to take as many people that she hates to the grave with her. Storm is trying to reason using logic to Madelyne Pryor. She is saying it doesn't matter if you're a test tube baby. After a while, your own choices are still your own. And right now, the person who made you, Sinister, is the enemy. And Mr. Sinister is actively just trying to destroy what is left of Madelyne Pryor by destroying her memory after memory. So why is Madelyne Pryor fighting against them and not with them? Psylocke is getting whooped by Mr. Sinister on the astral plane, which is pretty impressive for him. It seems the team is now helpless against Sinister, but Madelyne finally starts to point her fury in the right place at Sinister and launches a powerful attack against him. Back in the real world, the real X-Men and X-Factor descend on the location of Mr. Sinister and his team, Professor X's school, which is fitting. Everything comes full circle. I don't know how Storm could carry the Wolverine's heavy ass, 300 pounds of him, with all the adamantium on his skeletal structure. She would have been better off carrying Cyclops. These pages show a personality change with Jean Grey. Now that Madelyne is in there, connected to her, she's more, well, she uses the word bloodthirsty. Jean Grey was much more passive, less aggressive before, but now she's looking to end Mr. Sinister, which is unlike Jean, unlike the Jean that Cyclops knows. During this Inferno miniseries, we've encountered many demons, Noster, S'M, and even the Goblin Queen. And Jean Grey makes it a point to claim that Mr. Sinister is the most evil of them all, which I tend to agree with. Beast drops Jean Grey's parents off at the sentient ship home and headquarters to X-Factor, while Longshot is still reeling from his possession by the Inferno energy, unable to trust himself with his team, unsure if he will use his luck powers for good or evil. Beast, on the other hand, by name should be the one more affected, but his big brain is too potent and he is quite sure of his focus, and that is rejoining his team. It seems some characters, like this Marauder Blockbuster here, still under the effects of the Inferno possession. Just like a medication, it seems like some recover faster than others, and with his demonic upgrade, Blockbuster is able to neutralize Colossus, Iceman, and Dazzler all by himself, which is pretty impressive. What's more impressive is Havoc's Plasma Blasts, which totally take out Blockbuster in one shot. Those Summers brothers are off the chain with power. Sabretooth is easily put down with a psychic mind attack from Psylocke. There are really three versions of Sabretooth. This version here, the smaller, more crazy, well, really crazy version, and then the Jim Lee and cartoon versions, which shows him much, much bigger, more lumbering, more dumb, and then obviously third, the Age of Apocalypse version where he was a hero. Which version of Sabretooth is y'all's favorite? I will tell you, this version is my favorite. Back upstairs, it looks like Mr. Sinister went through all of the X-Men and X-Factor's personal belongings in order to learn more about them, in order to find more weaknesses. The former X-Men Polaris, which is possessed by another entity, another puppet for Mr. Sinister by the name of Malice, which controls her body and mind, launches an attack on our heroes. Cyclops gets filled in that she's a baddie now. Just as evil Polaris is about to skin the Wolverine alive with some shrapnel, Marvel Girl steps in telekinetically and Storm judo slams old green hair to the mat with extreme prejudice. While Marvel Girl holds evil Polaris captive, Storm orders Psylocke to try and forcibly separate the malice psyche from the mind and body of Polaris. Evil Polaris pleads for them to not do so, as they apparently have merged into one whole at this point. Separating them now may kill one or both entities, not to mention if the separation is a success, what will Sinister do to Malice afterwards? As Havoc orders his former lover to talk, the whole mansion looks like it explodes. It was a darn Mr. Sinister behind the explosion. Evil Polaris is kind of pissed Sinister didn't warn her, but Sinister doesn't give a flip about any of that. Now he has the OG sample in Jean Grey, and he plans to do some freaky-deaky experiments with her. But first, gotta get rid of those X-Men and X-Factor. Mr. Sinister orders Evil Polaris to kill them off, but just by luck, Longshot shows up and says, "Over my dead body!" Can Longshot alone take on both Mr. Sinister and Evil Polaris all by himself? He's gonna need some super duper uber luck with that. I rate this issue an 85%. I thought some of the pages were filler pages. I thought the art could have been much better, especially during the time in the astral plane in Jean Grey's mind, and just overall, the art was not Silvestri's best work. I like how this issue ended with the major cliffhanger though, all the heroes unconscious, and the one hero who showed he was struggling with his confidence and was late to the fight is now the one who must save everyone. Next episode will be in X Factor issue number 39. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Peace!